Good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, kids, wherever you are in this world. My name is Bill Rivers, and I'd like to welcome you to Tracerco Talks today. As always, we have a great lineup of guests today. Today, we're going to be focusing on the monitors group, and I have two really exciting gentlemen that I'd love to introduce you today. One is Mr. Adam Golightly. He is the marketing manager for monitors, and also his partner Simon Lambert, who's also the technical manager for monitors. Welcome, gentlemen. How are you doing today?
Doing great, Bill.
How are you doing, Simon?
Good, thanks, Bill. Thanks for the intro.
Well, before you guys get rolling down here and start talking a little bit about monitors, can you guys give the audience a little bit about your background? Adam, do you mind going first, just kind of talking a little bit about your background at Tracerco and what you do?
Yeah, sure, Bill. Yeah, so I'm very fortunate that I've been involved with the monitors business from day one. The business was commercialized around about 2004. So I've been with the business 22 years now, and in this radiation monitoring world, about 19 of those years. So yeah, I've seen it go from being a sort of a one-man band to what it is now, where we're operating in 70 countries worldwide. We sold tens of thousands of units and operating across different market spaces. So my role's gone from being a technician, a logistics guy, customer service guy, through to product management, global commercial manager, and today I'm working as the market manager at Tracerco.
Nice. Wow, you have a history, don't you?
Just a bit, yeah.
What about you, Simon? What do you do for the monitors group?
Well, don't span quite far as back as Adam, but nearly. I've been in the company since 2005, so some 17 and a half years with the company. And over that time, I've had various roles, involved with project delivery, business management, commercial, technical, and global operations. But for the last 3.5 years or so, I've worked alongside Adam as the technology manager, which positions me in a really great space to work with all of the commercial teams, the development and innovation team, and last but not least, the customer, really. So what I do in that role is I develop our product roadmaps. I build our business cases to support the business to make the right decisions, hopefully. And a lot of that involves listening to customers, which is, a great part of my role. And essentially, I'm there to ensure that, what we do is aligned to the market need and in an area where we can, our unique capabilities, add value ultimately. And once all that's in place, Bill, and we do get approval for various projects, I often get involved as a product manager to guide and support the delivery through to completion.
So you guys have been there for, it sounds like, for well over 15, together, roughly about 15 years. So you almost started at the beginning. So I guess my question to you guys is, I'm really curious about, how did this monitors group start? Because we all know Tracerco started as a gamma scanning company, right? We used to scan fractionation and refinery towers, but now we've kind of moved and morphed into a monitors group. So explain kind of exactly what monitors are, and then how did this actually all come about, if you guys don't mind?
Yeah, I'll pick that up, Simon. So Bill, basically, the business itself really sort of, as I mentioned, commercialized around about 2004. So prior to that, we had a single product that we designed within the business going back to the 1970s, and quite uniquely, we effectively designed a product to support our service team and engineers who were their operations, and we designed the world's first intrinsically safe radiation monitor.
Oh, wow.
When we got to this 2004 period where we commercialized, we also supported, being an end user as well, which is quite a unique position. We also have a team of radiation protection advisors. So they had the sort of foresight as well to see an opportunity where there was a gap in the market for intrinsically safe contamination monitoring for offshore operations. So we designed the world's first intrinsically safe contamination monitor around about the sort of 2005, 2006 period. And then that business sort of developed from there. It was a unique place in the market. And then we were able to offer the product and also the service support. So one thing to bear in mind, we don't just supply products to the market. We offer global service center calibration, so we can do calibration repair of instrumentation in 5 different continents around the world, in here in the UK, over in the US, in the Middle East, in Abu Dhabi, in the Emirates, in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and also in Perth in Australia. So that gives us a fantastic platform to, provide and support our products in the regions for the operations. Predominantly was in oil and gas and intrinsic safety. But then we've, as time's gone on with, developing our product roadmap, we've managed to work into some new applications and new markets.
So if I understood you correctly, this was born out of necessity. This monitor was born out of necessity, and then basically the foresight of another team with inside Tracerco decided, hey, you know what? Maybe the rest of the world would like to take a look at this as well.
That's right, Bill. I think just building what Adam said there, it was, the monitors were built for our own team. So we're not only sort of manufacturers, but originally we were end users of our product. There wasn't an intrinsically safe monitor around at the time, and our engineers were handling, and monitoring radioactive sources. So we developed the products to suit our needs initially, and then saw a bigger demand, as Adam says, and commercialized the business. It was actually handled initially out of our specialist measurement department when I joined the business, and it just got that big that we had to create another business unit for it.
So, based on Adam's description, I want to touch on this a little bit. So it sounds like we're an international company now. Like the monitors are now spread out all over the world. Is that about right? Would be fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, my role as it's developed from day one, I've been in a commercial market role now in the last sort of 10, 12 years. I've traveled and worked in over 30 countries now around the world, from North America, Europe, Middle East, Africa, Asia, and Australia. So, we've really sort of grown our footprint around the world. We've sold now into over 70 countries worldwide, and across a multitude of new markets as well. I mean, traditionally we've come from the oil and gas market where intrinsic safety is more mandatory in many applications, but we've also developed standard products that go into the security markets, the life sciences markets, the nuclear power plant market. So we've really developed from day one into a wide range of applications and markets.
So you mentioned on markets, you touched on a little bit on who you serve. Besides the security market and the oil and gas market, what other markets do you guys serve? Or are those just it?
No, like I mentioned, so in industrial sector, we work. We've come from the oil and gas sector, but we do a lot of work in the industrial radiography, so non-destructive testing in industrial sector. In security, which we just touched on then, the CBRN world, the police, fire teams, military applications. So we've, around the world, we've operated there. The other markets as well, at which we're tapping into, is the life sciences, so pharma, medical research, hospitals, nuclear medicine, radiography in hospitals, there's X-ray. There's a whole host of applications there as well. And the other one I just come on to, nuclear power plant generation as well. So obviously that's a vast player in the energy mix, the global energy mix, and it's here to stay for the foreseeable as well. So that's another area that we've done work in as well.
So you guys touch on a broad spectrum of array of customers all around the world in different market segments. I mean, somewhere along those lines, you have to have something where you guys want to help the customer, or when you first started. Do you have anything, something interesting to share with the audience about, a customer you particularly helped or worked with that kind of, set your I guess your dosimetry and your handheld devices apart from everyone else?
Yeah, we've got many. I mean, I can talk about we could talk about again our unique position as an end user. So I'm sure with Simon's experience there that he's come across times when it's really emphasised the importance of our dosimetry range, for example. But in terms of intrinsic safety, if we just step back on that, intrinsic safety is a design technique. It's not everybody can do it. We are a market leader in that. We have a product that is still unique. There's no other ATEX certified contamination monitor in the world. We've held that position for many years now, so that is a real benefit to the users offshore, where there's a hazardous area zone where you've got flammable gas environment. There's no need for a hot work permit. It saves the operators time, and obviously time is money. Being able to design products like that is quite unique. So we've really established ourselves globally in that space. The other sort of real good example is in terms of the PED, the personal electronic dosimeter. So it's quite, I would say, radically different to what the market has on offer at the moment. It has done for the last 10 years. So we've gone with a very large display, graphical user interface. We've gone for simplicity, and that's, I can't sort of emphasize more how simplicity is key in a lot of different sectors. Radiation monitoring isn't the primary function or operation for every worker. Sometimes it's a support tool. So when they want to grab an instrument and use it, it's got to be easy to use. It's got to be simple. Now we've gone from a graphical display of a person, filling up on a traffic light system. It couldn't be more simpler. You've got units of measurement on there, but you can work off a guy filling up on a traffic light system, and you've got time related to that task. So, it's very simple for the end user. This has really helped us, get into areas such as, if I take an example, new territories like getting into Germany and the fire departments. We've been very successful adapting our product for fire teams. Again, grab and go, so that it's a simple product. They can pick it up and go. We've got language options on the display as well. So we've been successful in, for example, in Korea with police teams, where English isn't widely used, and in some countries still with instruments, and we've got language translation, so we can make it much simpler for the guys to use it. And again, with them not being primary radiation workers, it needs to be simple and easy, and we think we've done that as well, and we're working towards improving that with the PED, with the user experience, the UX stuff that we work on. So that's our real sort of core strengths. I guess, Simon, you have examples of operationally, I guess, as well, what we've had in with dosimetry. And
yeah, I think just going back to one of your points there, Adam, distilling that down, it's kind of, I think, Bill, we've done the hard work first in tackling the intrinsically safe requirements, if I can say it properly. I think a lot of other suppliers do struggle in this area, and I think we were fortunate that that was our area of expertise. We started there, we did that tricky bit first, and if anything, we're going from that hazardous area environment into a non-hazardous area environment. I think it's much easier to go that way than the other way. So now we can focus on that user experience, as we've done for years and years now, and it really has helped. And with the IS requirement, there's a requirement there to keep the limit the current. So what you end up with is a device that's quite very low power, which gives you a lot more advantages as well for usage and also kind of size. Ultimately, you can pack more in. So lots of subtle little advantages there. I think that we've been fortunate enough to start where we have. I mean, as a manufacturer, it is always great to see the reaction of customers when they use our products. And you hear the value that it adds. And we do get great feedback on the products, and some interesting feedback in which we use to adapt the products. But it's fair to say that you don't always hear lots of stories like you do from your own experiences, which we have over 200 engineers around the world that use this equipment daily. So we do get lots of feedback and stories. And I do recall one, I was thinking as you were speaking, as operationally, where we were working, I was the global operations manager for our specialist measurement team, and we were carrying out some end-of-life source replacements on an offshore platform. And part of our sort of standard operating procedure is that all of our engineers wear the PEDs when handling or when in contact with radioactive material. So they have them on. And as part of the sort of job brief, we were discussing with the offshore operative, kind of the job and how things were going and what we were going to do. And all the sources were bottled up and sealed in the lead containers. So no risk there. And during that discussion, was 3 field engineers stood chatting with the representative, and all their alarms went off. Everything was buzzing, flashing, and the operator was kind of a bit alarmed at this, to say the least, and was a bit concerned initially as to the integrity of the sources, and that was the immediate concern. But we kind of knew, this shouldn't be the case. Anyway, it transpired upon investigation that some other work in the area had been going on. I think some NDT bombing of some vessels in a different part of the platform was happening, and this has alerted this guy to the situation. And there'd been a scope change, and he didn't know about it. So ultimately, I think they were very interested, let's say, in the product and what it brought, and in our standard operating procedures. So they took a good look at their processes and procedures, and implemented some changes. So yeah, it was all positive feedback, but just another example of us getting our product out there, experiencing it ourselves, and getting that feedback as well, that we could build into future iterations of the product to highlight different eventualities.
See, what I like about what both of you just touched on was the simplicity, right? We've all been in trainings before, various trainings spanning a wide amount of scope, but they've always done these studies that say that once you sit in a training, you retain once you're in it, you retain 100% of the knowledge. As you walk out the door, you retain 50% of the knowledge. As you wake up the next day, you bring 20% of the knowledge. And by the third day, you only remain 10% of what you learned 3 days ago. But sounds like Tracerco has created a product that is very simple. You can look at it very, very quickly. So if there is an emergency or a problem or an issue that arises, that operator, that user can take a quick look at it, that large screen, take a fast glance. Yep, there's something exactly wrong. Wow, this is not looking good for me. They can get out of the area fairly quickly. I just think that's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, and I think the instruments are extremely intuitive, Bill. I think, but there are a few of the industries that Adam mentioned there. There is very infrequent use of the equipment, so it's really good to be to have that intuition there in front of you. But again, there's a need for training. I think there's a requirement there for training, and obviously having sources isn't desirable either. So what we have developed, just as a offshoot to this, is we've partnered with a simulator company, so we do have simulators as well for the equipment, so they can use them and get familiar with how the alarms sound and everything, without the need to expose anybody to a source.
So when you say simulator company, you mean this company actually simulates radiation, essentially. So it simulates a source somewhere in a building or a car or something like that for that they use our dosimetry to go find. Is that right?
For the security industries, yes. So they'll set up a scenario where they'll plant an electronic source, for want of a better word, and parameterize it and say, yeah, it's 60 meters away, it's giving you this dose, and then as you move closer to it, it replicates the field that you would experience from a radioactive source.
Now, you mentioned a lot about intrinsically safe products. Do you offer a variety of different products for different situations, or is it just intrinsically safe the only product that you guys offer?
No, I mean, Adam could probably expand on this, but yeah, we do a full range of intrinsically safe and non-intrinsically safe standard equipment.
Yeah, I mean, we're well placed in the intrinsically safe world, Bill. I mean, that's our expertise since the 1970s. So we have a very good position as market leaders globally with intrinsically safe radiation monitors. But what we've learned from being an end user ourselves with our engineers, and when we've touched into new territories and new markets, we've learned a lot from the features and functions on those products, and developed a range of non-ATEX equipment as well for other applications. The obvious transition, like I said, is again with keeping simplicity as a key, moving into that sort of first responder world as well, where these guys need something. It's an emergency scenario, it's a grab and go scenario. They need something that they can just pick up, look at, and they get a quick interpretation of what's going on. Even to the point where we've put textual messages on the PED screen. So it actually tells you if you're hitting an alarm threshold, what you need to do. It could be part of your procedures. No other instrument does that on the market.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, Bill, there is obviously an overhead associated with intrinsically safe equipment, the ongoing maintenance and the certification, etc. So we do have customers that kind of want both. So you may have a facility or a site where for their emergency response teams they require intrinsic safety or desire it, and for visitors and other staff they require just normal non-hazardous area equipment. So that's another, let's say, bonus, that if you've got the familiarity with the equipment and it's easy to use, it's across the board. So you're not having to buy IS from one company, non-IS from another. We do both and cater for both scenarios.
So all the products that you guys sell are just basically to cater to a wide spectrum of a wide audience. So you have not one product, like to your point, not one size fits all. You have a variety of products, so accommodate the customer as they need it. So I have one, I guess maybe my final question here, just to get, maybe you've talked about like a lot of really high tech, a lot of futuristic things. You've talked about how development of this product is going. So where do you see the future of the dosimetry / handheld market? I mean, where do you see this going? Where do you see the monitors going in the future? It sounds like what you've designed so far is on point. Like you have made a product that is user friendly, wide spectrum, that anybody can pick up and use instantly. So what's next? Where do you guys see things going next?
I think, Bill,
Okay.
personally, I think, Bill, we've got very good products you can use in hand, very easy to use. I think the way it's going now, not just with monitors, but with all sorts, is it's doing more with the data. So it's collecting that information, being connected, and being as seamless as possible. So you're removing the friction from the job and only highlighting issues when you need to highlight them. No overload. So I think Tracerco will be doing a lot of work around data management, around presentation of data, not just on the device but after the event. Being able to sort of best practice ALARA, driving down dose where possible for those occupational workers, keeping records seamlessly, all that type of stuff really. And then really in the future then, from our work we continue to do with the markets, we do see this being more about wearables, particularly for military. So rather than wearing a device, you might be in a garment, for instance, or that type of thing. So all sorts of things really, Bill, that stretch from the now to the possible, really.
Yeah, and just to add to that as well, Bill, it's a lot of the technology that's used in these products is quite well established, but I think what sets us apart and helps us win is we've got a very talented UX team within Tracerco, the user experience stuff that we're working on, and really getting that feedback from the customers, and like I said, we're so well placed as an end user ourselves to keep working on that on a daily basis, just understanding what it really is important to the user, and not having to second guess so much when we're an actual end user ourselves. And yeah, the whole sort of UX piece is really important for us, and making the product simple and easy to use is the way forward. Always will be.
So this product, again, is just born out of necessity. I think that's quite fascinating that a company takes the time and effort to go ahead and move forward and develop something not only for its own people, but have the foresight to branch out and see what other folks would need as well. I think that's absolutely brilliant what you guys have done. I mean, guys, I know this is short, sweet, and to the point. I mean, is there any other questions or anything you'd like to add here this time?
No, yeah. Go on, Simon.
I say not really, Bill. I mean, we just continue this year. Looking forward to this year. We've got an exciting product roadmap to pursue. We'll be continuing to engage and refine that with the market, with the customer. I'm really looking forward to that bit. I think from Adam's side, he'll be continuing to build the customer support and the commercial reselling network. And and we've got some exciting launches coming this year as well. So good to look forward to.
Yeah,
Oh,
I was just going to touch on that. Yeah, so really enjoyed the chat, Bill, and yeah, I'm pretty sure we'll be chatting again soon because we've got some new stuff coming out in the very foreseeable future.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that. That sounds pretty interesting. I'll have to get back in touch with you guys and see what else you have to offer.
Look forward to it.
Guys, I know I appreciate your time. I know you're both incredibly busy people. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank Adam Golightly and Simon Lambert for being our guests today here on Tracerco Talks. As always, you can find us at www.tracerco.com. Again, my name's Bill Rivers. You can follow me on LinkedIn if you need to, as well as Simon and Adam. With that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you and have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.